Hello, my other self. It's nice to be back on these videos. I haven't covered one of these in a while, and I was ruminating with some of the questions and answers of the raw material, and I noticed that I got hooked on a question that I have already covered. So if you want to get a little bit more of an extension on this, not only you can go to session 15, which I recorded years ago, but also this year I recorded a video on this particular question, which is question 7 of session 15. But here I want to give a different slant to this and maybe a little bit more practical. And I promise I'll be doing more of these videos in the near future. As I continue to read the material, I find these beautiful Q&As that for us who are on the inner path, they just continue to resonate. All of us who have been studying the law of one at the very least. So this is question 7 of session 15, and it has to do with the greatest service that we can provide. So let's read it first, and then I'm going to give you some of my musings on this and how does this apply to the inner path of knowing yourself, meditation, and begin to listen to the creative impulse that is in you, that is, in essence, informing you how to provide your service to the world. It's actually very simple, and I'll try to make it as basic and simple as possible, as I always try. So, where is my animation? I haven't done this in a while, see? So, here's the question, and is what is the greatest service that our population on this planet could perform individually? So us, individually, what can we do? And Ra says, there is but one service. The law is one. The offering of self to Creator is the greatest service. The unity, the fountainhead. The entity who seeks the one Creator is with infinite intelligence. I'm so used to say intelligent infinity. From this seeking, from this offering, a great multiplicity of opportunities will evolve depending upon the mind-body-spirit complex's distortion with regard to the various illusory aspects or energy centers of the various complexes of your illusion. Thus, some become healers, some workers, some teachers, and so forth. So, before I pan again to my face fully, let's actually take a look at one of the different portions here. So this whole part of the paragraph is there is but one service, which is the law of one, and that is offering our sense of being an individual entity to the Creator. And I'll explain in practice what that means. That is the greatest service, and that's the unity. The entity who seeks the one is actually with infinite intelligence, or rather working with that intelligence that is forming everything. Now, from this seeking, there's going to be a lot of opportunities, a multiplicity of opportunities, which depend on the mental configuration of the individual. Okay? So whatever you are able to do, that opportunity will arise. And so that's why some people become healers, some workers, some teachers, and so forth. The first thing I'm going to say is that all of these services are labels that we put on the activity that people do. And you know that no two teachers are alike. They're different. We just like to categorize things. So we call them, he's a teacher, he's a guru, he's a whatever. Same with healers, same with workers, same with artists, same with musicians, and so on. Okay, so the point is that there is something that is happening through us that we haven't been paying attention. So what are the elements of this in terms of practical aspects of what we do in the inner path? Well, very simple. Everything is a function of identity, as I already explained in one of my videos. And this identity has to do with either the separate self or the one infinite Creator, you as God. So what do we do in the inner path? We gradually dissolve the self-referential I thoughts that is constantly telling us a story about ourselves, and which is, of course, the recipient, responsible actor or character of the suffering self, the one that is a victim or guilty, the one that has shame, and all of these things. So we gradually dissolve this, so a greater self arises. This is precisely what Ra is saying here. In the mystical path, we, in essence, surrender that sense of self to the real self, the true self. That is the offering of the self to the Creator. As I said in my last video about 8-9 months ago, this self that they mean here is what in Hinduism we call Jivatman, or the sun in Christianity, which is this manifested self. Once this idea of a separate being is surrendered to, is offered to that which is infinite, that which is the pure awareness of self, then when that happens, we are within infinite intelligence. We are working with an intelligence that goes beyond the thinking mind. How does that look to us? Well, there is a part of our mind that is always saying, I, myself, I did this and that happened to me and I should be doing this and I'm not doing it and so on. That's the narrative, the self-referential narrative, the self-reflective thought. It's like an echo in a cave that keeps coming back and we keep talking to it. So when we enter the inner path and we allow this echo to simply dissolve, to keep going without answering to it, then that space is filled with something that I call the creative impulse. There is an energy of thought that comes in and informs us in different ways. It talks in a different language, and it's giving us the indications, the motivation, the inspiration to do certain things. When we begin to listen to this and we act, it's very important this, because we can stay in just the realm of ideas. We need to act in order for more information to come in. It's almost like it's bubbling up, it's concentrating in ourselves, and we have to act. We have to put it into action. That's why we call ourselves co-creators. That's why we call ourselves manifesting beings, because this is the part that we obviously enjoy manifesting. And it always feels amazing. That's why meditation begins to shift the mood and the way we relate to our emotions and so on, because we no longer care about that character that we had in the past. We only care about this amazing feeling of sharing and just bringing creativity to the world, whatever that may be. That's why Ra says that there is a multiplicity of opportunities, and that so forth at the end. They obviously never use a word carelessly. That so forth means all the multiplicity of activities that we do. So in essence, this is the way that you can discover your service. But remember, the greatest service is always to offer that self to the Creator. I'm going to give you one more tip here. Because we're offering that egoic self at the beginning, that egoic self is loaded with a lot of guilt and shame and envy and so on, all of this. As it dies out, then there's going to be space liberated for this new expression, which is what you should act to create and to share and to manifest, basically, that which you have inside. If you're an artist, then you begin doing art. If you're a musician, or if you're a teacher, or if you like working in a specific area, or whatever it is that you do, that's what you have to listen to, that creative impulse, and act on it. Okay? Now, how do you continue to surrender the self to the Creator? Because that ego, or that tendency to associate yourself with what's happening, it's going to latch on to the new activity. and say, oh, I am a teacher. Oh, I am a whatever. Weaken that one, again, offer it to the creator and say, I am nothing. I am that which is happening right now. And it feels awesome to do what I do. You see? So this is the way in which the inner path, by you knowing who you are, liberates you from the, I'm going to call it risk of going back into the ego, into that activity or tendency to associate ourselves with the thoughts and what we're doing or what's happening in our minds, right? And it continues to liberate more and more space for this new information to flow through. And at the same time, you are acting on it and you're creating and you're offering and you're giving. This is the act of creating and giving. The opportunities there is no limit to this because you have so much of that within yourself. So my advice is that if you are already in the inner path, then look within those aspects of yourself. How much do you offer yourself to the creator? In which way? What is meditation? How do you realize what you are and what you're not? And how do you continue to heal or liberate that self so that more of that service comes through? It's very easy, very simple. That's all I wanted to serve, actually, I was going to say. But yeah, that's what I wanted to offer you today. And just remind you that I did record a video not long ago, and I talked a little bit more mystical about this. I just wanted to give a more practical view, and I promise I'm going to make more of these videos as I continue to read The Law of One. I hope this was helpful. If you're interested in going into the inner path the way I do it with the direct path, find a link in the description where you can get in touch with me and let's see what we can do together. I'll be happy to see exactly where you are and how my method can help you in your particular path. Be well, my friends, my other self, and I'll see you in the next video.